My name is Pip, and this is Sean, and welcome to the Stoner Morning Show.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we're live. Um, all right. I was in Toms River, New Jersey yesterday. Um, I'm guessing you've heard of it, maybe. I don't know. Are you there?
I have been to Tom Rivers, New Jersey,
Oh,
Tom's
yeah.
River.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
well, a friend of mine rented out a movie theater for his birthday, and we watched two bad movies, and only four people were there. So it was like we had four people to a whole movie theater. Um, but I
Nice.
missed the bus to get out there. I was messaging him. I'm an idiot because I was there on time, but I just like I don't know. I think the bus pulled up and I didn't even notice it, and then it pulled away, and then I was standing there late. But anyway, I messaged him. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be there an hour late." And he was like, "Oh, it's cool." And he picked me up. I was like, "Sorry to pull you away from your birthday movies." He was like, "No, we waited for you. There's only four of us." I was like, "Oh, all right,
Nice.
yeah." So I get into the movie theater and there's a DVD menu that's on the screen that's been on loop. And my buddy's dad is screaming to hurry up and press play because they've been listening to just that 30-second loop since
Oh,
he left.
jeez.
And it was
That's
for
amazing.
it was for the Garbage Pail Kids movie. So it was just like it was like
The
shitty
Garbage
carnival.
Pail Kids movie.
Yeah, it was like shitty carnival music with like kids singing, just like
Oh.
15 seconds of that on a continuous loop. For
How is that a birthday gift?
well, it was my that's what my friend wanted to watch. He wanted to watch some shitty movies. It was bad. It was
I like bad movies.
yeah.
I could relate. I think bad movies are better than good movies in a lot of ways. Because good movies are usually all good in the same way. Like a
Hmm.
good movie is good because it has great action scenes or great characters or good chemistry. But bad movies are always bad in like really unique ways that you never
Oh
thought
yeah.
a movie could be bad before. Like a movie like The Room is impossible to conceive of before it exists, which
Yeah.
makes bad movies in a lot of ways more special than good movies. And that's why I think they're actually superior.
That's a good way to look at it. Have you ever seen the Garbage Pail Kids movie?
I have not, but that does sound like a good one just based on the title.
Well, I had never seen it as a child. Um, and it's pretty bad. It's like it has a story that like I in watching it I was just like how did this who signed off on this horrible
Who
there's like no redeeming lessons to be
Well,
learned.
describe it a bit because based on it sounds like a toy commercial movie type.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's very bizarre. It's about a kid who gets bullied and he works at first he works in an antique store and he runs into this antique store to get away from these bullies and then you think he's like working for his grandfather, but it's just some old guy who tells him to take a bath in like
That
this
is weird.
this kid takes a bath in front of this old man. Yeah.
What?
It's very weird.
That's extraordinarily uncomfortable, I can
Yeah.
imagine. I don't want to watch it now. It doesn't sound like a good bad movie.
No, it was like kind of disturbing. But then
Like
it's like, hey, don't knock over this garbage can because there's magical babies that live inside who are all gross. And the rest of the movie was them trying to capture these weird garbage pail kids to put them back in the trash can. But in the meantime, they had them make clothes. Like the kids were like members of some like weird basement sweatshop, and they made clothes that um, got sold at a mall fashion show. It was very weird.
clarify this is a children's movie.
Yeah, and I and I
Wow.
and I don't think there were any like lessons about like be a
Life.
good person. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody learning anything from that.
right.
But wow, that's yeah, no, a fascinating an astonishing number of kids movies I think are scarier
Oh yeah,
than than any adult movies.
right. Oh, and
And
then
I have
after Garbage Pail Kids, we watched Troll 2,
that's a
and
great one.
I had to go to the restroom in between the movies. So they were subjected to the DVD menu of the next one as well for
Oh
a shorter
no.
amount of time, for just 5 minutes while I used the restroom. But um, it did dawn on me that it was my fault that they had to listen to the music of the first movie's DVD menu on repeat because I was the person who was late.
Right.
And then I subjected them to the second one.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
yeah.
That is troubling to say the least.
Yeah.
Um,
It was a hilarious circumstance because, like, the person who rented the theater was the only one who could tell the projectionist to hit play for a second.
right.
They weren't allowed to stop the movie from torturing the people who were sitting in the theater waiting
Yeah.
because of some stupid rule.
I think we got to get your buddy on here one of these days because I think that anybody who wants to do that on their birthday
Yeah.
is probably an interesting person to talk to.
Oh yeah.
And the kind of personality the Stoner Morning Show, I would say, attracts, if not emulates.
He's been on the 24-hour thing before. I don't think he's been on this Monday thing.
Is there any chance he's watching tonight?
I could message him.
Yeah, well, tell him he came up.
Yeah.
Right. And if anybody is watching, please feel free to drop us a comment. Let us know what you'd like us to discuss today, or else we're going to have to discuss Dr. Seuss. And I suppose that was inevitable.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say about Dr. Seuss. I don't.
Well, I guess I might have to bring you up to speed on what's going on with Dr. Seuss then.
Oh, I mean, I'm aware of it. I just like I don't know.
You just don't have any comments.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair.
We share a birthday.
You and Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting to see his name dragged through the mud after all these years.
Oh yeah. I remember hearing some unsavory things about him a while ago, though.
Oh, even as a child, we all knew he hated Japanese people.
Right.
So I think they're just cleaning house like Disney did when they like stopped airing Song of the South.
Oh
which
yeah.
is a movie from the 50s that is just I've never seen it because they've gone to incredible lengths to stop people from ever watching that movie again because of its astounding racism. But Disney did that. They stopped showing that movie in the 80s, so this is nothing new.
Oh yeah. Right.
But Dr. Seuss is the latest to be canceled, at least in the view of some people.
Yeah, six titles out of 80 or something like that.
Six titles out of 80 will no longer, or I don't know why they don't just take out the offending image.
Right.
That makes the most sense to me, but they don't consult me first when they make these decisions. They should, but they don't.
It's probably if they just removed the image, it would be less of a story, and they would have gotten less press. Maybe they knew they were inviting.
Yeah, I think they were maybe trying to call attention to their own progressiveness, maybe a little bit. Like they wanted to get that pat on your back on the back with the cat in the hat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know you can't buy a painting from Bob Ross?
I did not know that you can't buy a painting from Bob Ross. I imagine that's because they're all super valuable, right?
I suppose so, yeah. But like they won't sell anything from his. I'm sure he has like thousands of paintings in his collection, but they will sell nothing.
They won't sell anything?
No.
That is a little sad.
Yeah.
Why won't they sell anything?
I don't know. I guess he didn't sell paintings even when he was alive. So I guess they're just carrying on his wishes. I don't know.
Damn. He
Yeah,
just didn't believe in the commercialization of his art.
I guess not.
Well, that's admirable, I suppose.
Yeah,
Although,
I
kind
saw.
of stupid. All the great artists sold their shit. That's how they made their money.
Right.
Although, maybe he was protesting against capitalism.
Um, I suppose so. I bet his museum isn't free.
Yeah,
I
probably not. It's,
I also just found out. I thought that was shot in Alaska for some reason. Maybe he was born there. Do you know where the Bob Ross show was shot?
he feels like an Alaskan.
Yeah. It was shot in Muncie, Indiana. I never knew that.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, is Bob Ross considered like a great artist? Like, is he more of a public figure, like a popularizer of art, or is he considered like an artist in his own right that people would study in art history and take art classes to emulate? I don't know enough about art. I'm now learning.
Yeah. Um, I don't know what the consensus is for that. I would say, I would guess most of the art world would say that he is an outsider.
He's not one of them.
Right.
That's sad because he probably touched more people with art than Balzac ever did.
Probably.
Yeah, or Modigliani or any of those Italian guys with really long names, right? And Bob Ross has the shortest possible name if you think about it. And yet he was a great artist. So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
Length of name probably doesn't correlate to art quality, but it might correlate to whether or not the art community accepts you.
Yeah. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a solid premise. Um,
I tried a joke last week.
oh, did you? How'd it go?
Um, or no, maybe it was 2 weeks ago when you were here. When were you last here? 2 weeks ago?
I believe it was 2 weeks ago. I think
Oh,
last week I took a break to go be out and doing a thing.
oh yeah. The new joke is something along the lines of that. I recently realized while I was making dinner that I really only buy asparagus for the rubber bands. Because you know how they give you rubber bands when you buy asparagus?
Yeah, I did notice that.
It's
I
the
always
only
thought it was odd.
it's the only produce it's the only vegetable in the produce section that gives you an office supply when you buy it.
It's the only one because
Yeah.
I've seen rubber bands in like broccoli and other
Oh,
vegetables.
maybe. I feel like
Yeah,
most of my rubber bands, kitchen rubber bands, are asparagus ones.
really?
I think
I
so.
think I bought a big bag of rubber bands at one point, and it just that's not something you have to use. You have to buy more than once.
Right.
It cost me $2.99, and I think I made a rubber band ball
Mm-hmm.
out of a bunch of the rubber bands, and I still had enough left over for the rest of my life.
I know for a fact that Jason Cunis is watching on Facebook.
Well, hello, Jason Kunis. It's good to hear from you, buddy.
Yeah.
Um,
And there might be other people watching as well. I don't know. If anybody wants to come on, oh, I made this.
yeah, if you guys want to just come on and chat with us,
I made this like 2 weeks ago.
we have some comedic premises that we could riff through,
Yeah.
possibly.
Every time somebody shows up here, I mean, Christine is a regular.
Uh-huh.
She's here sometimes, but every time we have a new person on, they always say like, "Oh, this is great. I'm going to come back next week," and then they never do.
Oh, so maybe they're liars,
Yeah.
or maybe they just get stoned.
I'm a little hurt.
Don't be hurt, Sean. It's never personal. You know this business.
Yeah, that's true.
It's never personal in this business. Even when it's personal, it's not personal because when it's personal, it's personal about the other person as much as it's about you.
Right. There are persons involved, though. We definitely know that.
Yeah, well, it is a people business, but it's a people business in which nothing is personal,
Yeah.
right? And personally, I think that it kills people.
Hmm. I came up with an app idea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's an easy one. I think I could easily find somebody who could help make this. Maybe I should just figure out how to make apps. But anyway, it's an app for people who do hard drugs. Like, we're talking shrooms and LSD and that kind of stuff, and like, I don't know, mescaline and peyote and
All the
that,
good ones.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's it's an app that, because if people who are on those things, sometimes they freak out, and part of their freaking out is just like worried that other people are freaked out. So it's just an app that lets you check on the rest of the world and tells you that everyone else is okay.
On the whole world.
Yeah.
But how what about the people that aren't okay?
Well, because once you check it, you can vote on if you're like freaking out a little bit or you're fine. You know what I mean? But no matter what anybody votes, it'll always say that people are fine, because it's like, in order for people to actually, in order for the whole world to freak out,
It would have
nobody.
to be a disaster of like
Right.
global scale, and those rarely happen.
Yeah, yeah.
But I gotta say, Sean, I mean, checking the app to
Yeah.
confirm that the world is not currently blowing up or whatever would cause a mass panic like that.
Or freaking out.
I don't know if that would actually make me feel better.
Hmm.
If I was like getting broken up with someone, like
Well,
if I'm really sad about a breakup and I check the app and I'm like, well, the whole world isn't sad right now, so I guess it's fine.
but it's not for breakups. It's for when you're on drugs.
Well, I guess being on drugs, like, um, yeah, that might help.
Like, I feel like whenever I might have been experimenting with anything, and in that situation, if I've ever been sort of freaked out, I feel like I always am calmed by the knowledge that everyone else is okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely something that would be comforting at a time like that.
Yeah. So if anybody's watching and knows how to make an app, I don't know, let me know. I'm trying to find. I think somebody commented and said they want to come on, so I'm just finding the Zoom link.
Oh man. Who are we getting?
I had to mute myself while I was chatting because I couldn't turn off the.
I understand.
Dave Vidala.
Ooh,
It's I think it's Dave Vidala.
Dave Vidala.
I think he or maybe not, because I know a Dave Vidala, but this person is named Dave. Wait, yeah, it is Dave. Okay, he might be coming on. Maybe to tell jokes, maybe not. I don't know.
I mean, jokes.
Yeah,
Isn't everything joke?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you were to practice jokes tonight, what do you think were topics that you would be riffing on? Are there any topics you have in mind that you want to write jokes about?
It's hard to say. I always want to write jokes about I was watching like actual television the other day, like with commercial breaks and all that, and they still have all these commercials for like medications, which is only a thing in America, by the way. Um, and all the commercials list the side effects, and that takes up like most of the commercial, which I always thought was pretty funny, especially the depression ones, because one of the side effects for the depression meds is more depression. Um, so it's basically like, well, if you feel like, you can't go on, take this pill. It'll either make you feel better or worse.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
don't really know. Um, I always thought that was quite comical, but I'm not sure where the joke is in it.
Hmm. Well, you could set up some sort of hypothetical situation where doctors are convincing people that they are depressed, and then prescribing them depression medication that makes them depressed as a side effect.
Yeah, I
And
suppose.
so that's how you hook people on pharmaceuticals.
Right? I think that's actually what's happening because, like, if a side effect of the depression medicine made people depressed, then immediately they're just, well, you have to take a pill for that,
Right.
and now they have to keep taking them. But I'm not sure that's a joke or just the truth.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit scary, I think, for a comedy premise. But what do I know?
Yeah. Well, it's a scary world.
Yeah, we are in a scary world.
Um, did you ever see the Netflix show documentary series The Pharmacist? I think it's called The Pharmacist.
No, I have never seen that Netflix documentary series.
It came out a year ago. It came out right before Tiger King, and I feel like the world was starting to talk about this documentary called The Pharmacist, which is about a guy who like was one of the first people. He was just like a small town pharmacist, and he started fighting the opioid crisis by refusing to fill prescriptions. And I feel like we were on the
What?
verge of really talking about that, and then Tiger King came out, and everyone just started talking about Tiger King.
No,
Hey, what's
Tiger
up,
King
Dave?
is way less important
Hey,
than that. Hey, what up,
Yeah,
Dave?
yeah.
hey, what's going on? Nice to meet you, Pip.
Nice to meet you. How you doing tonight?
Not bad, not bad. Kind of a weird mood. I'm watching that Woody Allen Pharaoh doc.
Oh, I
Oof.
just watched that last night. I watched the third episode. Have you been I guess enjoying is the wrong word, but have you
Yeah,
been
no.
how have you
As
been
much as I
experiencing
can.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, just like watching it like with my wife and just like wondering how a person could be so evil, and also like thinking too, like at the time, just thinking like, so there were obviously Woody Allen's lawyers just sitting there being like, we got to think of something, like just, oh man, bad vibes. But yeah, I just watched part three. Um, Pretty caught up. HBO, man, and right after that, I was just like, is there a bad HBO documentary? I started watching the Tiger doc, and it's actually pretty entertaining. I'm not a sports guy like remotely at all, but it's
Yeah,
it's
that's how
super
I felt
interesting.
about the Michael Jordan talk. I'm like, this is a ride, and this is a good ride.
Yeah, I gotta check
Um,
that out.
I do love pretty much every documentary. The Woody Allen one is, yeah, kind of jarring, um, because of how twisted it is and like how manipulative he is and like
Yeah,
scary and what they call cognitive dissonance, which is the psychological thing that makes a person who could like live their life do something like that and still think of themselves as okay, and still go on to make movies and have everybody be like, oh, he's just a quirky guy. He married his daughter's, I mean, his girlfriend's daughter, but it was just an unconventional love story,
yeah. To each his own, These people,
right?
to
And
potato, right?
somehow people loved his movie so much that they just thought that for 20 years. And
Oh
I
man,
think if nothing else, this documentary will kind of bring it to light where it's like, wait, this is incredibly fucked up.
dude, yeah.
Well,
Leave it to HBO.
well,
If they finally fucking.
I haven't seen it yet, but that Broadway Danny Rose is a great film.
Which one is that? I've never seen that.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't seen it. They keep talking about that one, and I was like, "Fuck!" I've seen like a good amount of them. Apparently, that one's really good.
It is good.
I haven't seen that one.
It starts out. I I think you will both enjoy this, but it starts off with a bunch of old guys sitting around like a Cat's Deli kind of place, and they're all just telling stories about people. And then they start talking about Broadway Danny Rose, and they're like, "Oh God, what a character!" And then so the whole movie, then it goes into the movie, but the movie we see is like those guys telling the story, just like old guys talking about New Yorkers. I don't know. It's like a great way to set up a movie. But yeah, he sounds like he's a monster. I haven't seen the documentary.
Yeah, he definitely did a bad thing.
Yeah.
Very bad thing. Probably multiple times to possibly multiple people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave, did you hear at the very beginning I shared with Pip that I saw the Garbage Pail Kids movie yesterday and Troll 2?
Oh no, yeah, I did not hear that part. I picked up when I can't remember when I picked up, but yeah. What did you think of? I haven't seen Garbage Pail Kids movie.
It's shit. It's horrible. It's
Yeah.
it's a god awful. But
no
sounds
redeeming
great.
qualities.
we give it a try.
Yeah. You'll love it.
Nothing like a good bad movie.
Yeah.
It was just hard to, I don't know. It's hard to like watch it and not wonder like what were the moving parts behind the scenes that made this thing a reality. You know what I mean? It was just sort of like Troll 2 you can understand because it's just like it's a shitty low budget horror film.
Yeah, Troll 2 is literally purely cashing in on the name.
Yeah.
And nobody cared about the movie itself.
Yeah.
But I like bad movies where somebody clearly did care, but it's just a train wreck. Those are my favorite bad movies.
I saw Troll 2, but I was like, am I not doing it like due diligence by not seeing Troll 1? But like, I just was like,
unrelated, which is one of the best parts.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't.
No relation between Troll 1 and Troll 2.
Yeah.
It's not a sequel. It's just called Troll 2 with a completely different story that also involves trolls that look completely different.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's what horror was in the early 90s.
I think in the first Troll, there's something about a haunted ring or something like that, and that's not in this movie at all.
Yeah, it's completely different.
It's just about a town called I gotta write it out because it's
I was gonna say if you say Troll right now.
No, it's called Nilbog.
Nilbog, because it's goblin backwards. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great. You could always tell the quality of something when it involves something spelled backwards.
Yeah.
Like
also. Oh wait, no. What's good spelled backwards? Now I
was gonna say like there's a Superman villain who he goes back to his dimension anytime he's forced to say his own name backwards, and that's like his only weakness. And I just wanted to talk about how absurd that is, but that's all I got. Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's like. There's also like Patton Oswalt has a joke about like Uatu the Watcher. Are you guys familiar?
Yeah, I know Uatu the Watcher.
Yeah, and he just like watches things that happen and like doesn't do much of anything else.
He's like a all-powerful cosmic entity that just stands there and watches. When all the supervillains do their crazy shit, he just watches. He's probably the biggest asshole in the comics.
This is Marvel stuff, right?
Yeah, this is Marvel stuff.
I'm familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say my favorite Woody Allen movie is Match Point. Have you guys seen Match Point?
The tennis. I don't think I have.
Yeah, I haven't seen Match Point. That one's on my list. I don't think I can watch his movies anymore.
I know it's so unfortunate, but it's like honestly, fuck that guy. And I had to Google this too. I was like, did he write it? And he did.
Yeah. I used to really like Crimes and Misdemeanors.
That one is also really good.
But I don't think I can watch it now.
Didn't see that. Yeah, I know. I haven't seen that many. I saw like Manhattan. I saw that, and obviously Annie Hall. But I saw Radio Days, which I did not like.
Manhattan is so creepy now. It was creepy then. I don't know. It's so nakedly confessional. Like,
Yeah.
it's shameless. It's like how Louis C.K. made a movie called "I Love You, Daddy,"
Right.
right? Like, and it's like really apparently creepy, and he like thought he could get away with that.
Oh, dude, yeah,
Um,
and people from his family are calling this like a hatchet job. And it's like, and this isn't a spoiler, Sean. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, we used your audiobook for the documentary. Like you literally wrote
yeah,
these horrible, horrible things and had another man read it. Like you obviously signed off on all this. Like, oh man, just you're supposed to just step into the silence and just fuck off forever.
Hmm.
I hope he
Yeah.
makes a counter movie. That would be a very
Maybe he'll make
watch.
like a movie about a writer who's beloved, but uh, people think he's a creep, or you know what I mean. Maybe he'll do
Yeah,
that.
where he'll make like an anti Me Too movement screed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, if Woody Allen becomes like a conservative icon, that will be the day.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah. So, Sean, I remember when I was coming on, you were talking about the app invention, but I have another app invention that
Oh,
I'm just, this is very loose and flowing right now.
sure.
Maybe
Let's
the
talk about
three
it.
of us all right.
Yeah.
So basically, like, you can't help but like, and this is just mathematics, like, you can't help but like, everyone likes one Michael Jackson song, right? Like, we can't deny it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Of
it's horrible.
course.
Is there a situation where you could put someone in an escape room style situation and make them watch Match Point because it's so good and they can't escape and it can't be their idea to watch the movie, but you're somehow aware that they have, nowhere to be, so to speak, and like it's all like they don't think their life is in danger and
Right.
they don't have the burden of being like recommended a movie that was written and directed by a terrible person. I don't
Huh.
know. It has holes.
It has
It's
holes.
Much like
interesting
much
to
like
be
Radio
sure.
Days, it's
Yeah.
not a perfect idea, but they
Um,
did make it.
I still want us to talk about it, but real quick, I just want to give a shout out to my sister who wrote Bob Ross paintings were demos specifically made for the show only. They were only meant for on air. That's why he doesn't sell any, or that's why his estate doesn't sell any, I guess.
I that's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks, Melissa.
I don't understand why that's a reason though, and it could be my own ignorance. In fact, it definitely is. But like, just because they were made for the show means that they can no longer
I
be
don't know.
sold. I mean,
Yeah.
why not?
Did
The
did they
show's
just go
over.
right
They're
into
not
a?
still
Did they
making episodes.
no?
I don't
Like, did
know.
they just go right into a furnace every single time one was
No,
created?
that'd be funny. No, I think they kept them all, and I think like his estate has like thousands of paintings, but they
Yeah.
just like refuse to sell any of them.
They're probably all in like a secret like warehouse. Like you have to like go through a series of vaults in order to get to it.
Right.
And you gotta like type in a password and do one of those eye scans
Yeah.
and
That's over at Fort Ross.
yeah.
Like I wouldn't want a Bob Ross painting for the look of it, but it would be cool to own one.
Yeah.
Like Bob Ross painted this.
Maybe if we ever actually storm Area 51, we'll just find a bunch of Bob Ross paintings.
Maybe. That's
Possibly Bob Ross himself.
all right. Let's get back to this app idea that Dave had. Pitch it again. Take us.
Yeah,
Take
that was very in the moment. I had not thought of that previously.
okay.
Is
It
the
doesn't have to be
idea
a movie
to
written in.
expose people to movies that they won't like?
Maybe that they feel guilty. Like you were just like, oh, like Match Point sounds terrific, but it was written and directed by a rapist. So like I normally this would not be my choice.
Yeah.
Maybe it's maybe if you are interested in watching a piece of art created by one of these horrible people, maybe you go to this app and then you type the name of it in, and then it gives you redeeming qualities about it that sort of make it's like,
Feel-
okay, well, this is
yeah.
redeemable for these reasons. Like,
yeah,
the
I
people
like
who are
that.
involved in it,
And maybe it like uses like it masks your IP address so nobody can
Well,
prove that you're watching these problematic movies, so it'll be like very secure.
yeah, I was thinking in line too with like you can't help if you're like in a cab and someone starts playing like Billie Jean or something. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
it would be nice if there were some kind of like, I don't know, if it was just like you've watched this episode of like blank like too many times, like you're gonna watch this shit now.
Yeah.
It's interesting
but
which celebrities. I mean, people still will listen to Billie Jean. Michael Jackson has not been canceled as far as I know. So it's interesting which one of these people does get canceled and which one does not, because it doesn't always seem to be based on what they do.
Right.
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why Michael Jackson has been canceled, especially after his documentary.
Yeah, I'm hoping HBO has the power to put this man down, even as much as we might miss him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a philosopher. I don't know if canceling is always the path, but I do think that awareness is always a good thing. So it's good that people are learning about what went down and then making decisions by themselves.
Yeah.
Well, my sister just dropped some more Bob Ross knowledge in the comments, which is a guy who hasn't been canceled, and as far as we know, there's nothing horrible about him. But she said that each painting for the show was done 3 times. He did one version before the show as practice, then he did the version on the show, and then for some reason he did a third version after the show. And she doesn't know why he did that.
That's fascinating. That's
Yeah.
like, can you imagine doing a set and then leaving the stage, going to the bathroom, and immediately just doing the set again? Just by yourself.
Right.
That's actually something that I might want to try in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like mastered it the first time, mastered it the second time. Let me just make extra sure I'm the best at this.
Yeah.
Sounds like a God complex thing for sure.
Oh. Man, Bob Ross would be a good guy to have in the pandemic, because just imagine watching his show every day and then getting really good at painting over the year. It sounds like a really productive way to spend all this time at home.
I've probably watched over the last year, maybe 2.5 hours of Bob Ross.
That's like what, 3 episodes?
Something like that, yeah. Like in the background.
So you've never attempted to replicate what he was doing?
No.
It's one of those things where I just like, I remember watching it as a kid and first thinking, oh, hey, I could do it. I could just follow along.
Right.
And as an adult, or even as a kid a little bit, I learned there's no way it's that easy. There's no way I could whip out, get all those paints that he flashes on the screen really quickly, and just do what he does in the 30 minutes that he does it. It's
such a con artist.
It's impossible that I wouldn't fuck up a zillion times and have just a shitty, really, really, really shitty painting.
But if you had
he's so calm.
And I'm not saying he's a con artist. I'm saying I never attempted it because I always knew, wow, this is way harder than it looks. So you call Bob Ross a con artist and a calm guy, but he didn't really convince me that it was attainable to make art like that. I know in a way Bob Ross failed me, is what I'm saying. And that's my riff on Bob Ross.
But if you had known that he had done every painting 3 times, if you knew that he had that much practice, maybe you would have been like, all right, so I guess it is somewhat hard. Maybe it would have made it more authentic to what it was really.
He seemed like a really earnest person. But I'm just a little too cynical for Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers as well. It's just hard for me to take these wholesome people at face value.
Hmm.
How good is your wholesomeness for the world, really?
Betty White.
Betty White. Betty White she seems like really endearing. Her, it's hard to dislike.
Who do you think we haven't found out about yet? Who's secretly a monster?
That's a good question.
I think before we get to the people we haven't found out about, we're
Okay.
gonna cancel a bunch of people that everybody kind of already knows about.
Okay.
But just doesn't seem to care for whatever reason. Like pretty much every rock star from the 60s did some shit.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but who do you think we're gonna find out about? I don't know.
I think you have to think who's the most sanctimonious person, like who's the biggest like pious fuck.
Alec Baldwin.
Oh, interesting. He is notoriously shitty.
He's a dick. Almost openly a dick, but that's not the same thing as being cancelable. I mean, a lot of people are dicks.
Who again?
Alec Baldwin.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say Harrison Ford. Possibly. He seems like a mean guy.
I'd be shocked to find out that he was a monster.
A monster is a stretch, but did some shit is not.
No.
I don't know. It's all pure speculation from us, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Dave, did you have any jokes you wanted to try?
Oh shoot! Wow, this is a really loose.
Loose
hang.
It is.
Wait, I've got actually. Okay, so yeah, all right. So one I like, and the other I feel like already exists. So I really like. I've been to a lot of like rap music recently, and like on Instagram, when you follow like rappers, they always like flaunt wads of cash. You know what I mean? Like they're just like making it rain and shit. And I feel like the comedian equivalent is just like having a place to live. Like just like I'm coming at you from a structure, motherfucker. Yeah, and then the other one was like I really like ribs, like some good dry ribs, because like it's a good excuse to like get like a big slab of meat. There's like nothing anybody could say. So you get like a half rack or a full rack. I always get the full.
Of course.
But like no other food is like that. Like if you order a steak, like the waiter's not like, all right, steak. So do you want 2 steaks? But I feel like that reminds me of a Dimitri Martin joke, but I don't want to listen to a full Dimitri Martin album. Or it might be a Nick Thune thing. I just know he has a joke where he talks about like when you get a milkshake and then they bring over the whole milkshake cup and it has extra milkshake in it, like, and you don't ever like have them bring out like a pot of like spaghetti and meatballs or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Do you think it's too similar to?
I don't think so.
I think that you're fine. That's definitely different enough.
Let's open it up to the chat.
Yeah.
Open it up to that chat. What are they saying in our chat?
I need someone to tell me I'm a plagiarist. Shit, fuck.
I always have that fear too of like sometimes I'll come up with a joke and I'm like, this has to exist.
Oh man, I had a whole bit that I apparently. The thing is I didn't plagiarize it. I just had the same experience as the comedian who tells it.
Yeah.
Apparently, I stole a whole bit, which is lame.
What was the story?
It's kind of crass, if you don't mind. But
this is the internet, Pip. Just try to watch it.
Yeah.
when I was in high school, I went to a very religious Jewish day school, and one time they showed us this video that was supposed to convince us not to masturbate. So what they did was it was this rabbi who was telling the story about him being in a car accident and dying and going up to heaven. And in heaven, like in the afterlife, he gets attacked by all his little semen babies that he killed as a result of all the masturbating he did in life.
Wow.
So the video is this rabbi telling this story, like crying and tearfully begging us not to masturbate, because if we do, we have no idea how many children we're murdering.
Whoa.
And after watching that video, it became a lot easier to masturbate. No, but that is a real thing that took place. That's something they showed us in high school. And there's I had a whole bit about it that I did a few times, but some guy came up to me and he's like, Moshe Kasher tells the same story. I'm like, okay, I don't, I'm not familiar with the bit, but all right, I guess I'll stop doing it. I wanted to stop doing it anyway because I'm trying to do comedy that's not about masturbating. Just because I think it makes me a little bit more marketable, especially when I have this fucking facial hair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have this beard be talking about masturbating. It's just gross. It's not a good brand.
Well, good for you for making that leap away from masturbating material.
Yeah, I mean, do you still talk about jerking off on stage?
I don't think so.
It's something I did early in my career.
Yeah, I still do. But I've only
Not
been
that there's
around
anything wrong with it.
No, I mean, I feel like I went out of my way to get like those type of things, and now I feel like, I don't know. I don't know if I'll keep it. We'll see. The
thing that made me want to stop doing it is this one time I did a show where I consciously decided not to do any material that would get me like kicked out of a family show. I wanted to do 5 minutes of totally clean stuff, and I bombed. So I was like, well, shit, am I fucking falling back on the dick jokes? That's not cool. I wanna be better. So I decided to challenge myself, and now I don't want to do it anymore. I still have trouble not saying fuck though, just because I curse a lot. That's how I talk.
Yeah. And like are my fucks right now. And I feel like that's so hard.
Yeah. Right. I say right a lot. Yeah.
I think I should pick that up.
Did you? Did you pick that?
Right.
Did you pick that up?
No, I'm saying I should pick up right. Just throw it into the repertoire, like and on my pod I always say very cool. I edit out the stupidest shit, but it's like so necessary.
Oh, you should plug your podcast.
Oh yeah, it's called the Comics Feature. Pip, you'd love this pod. I gotta say, I can already.
Am I gonna feature on it?
You're gonna feature on it. I know it. I have a feeling about you, Pip.
Yeah, why don't you give me an invite, bro? I'd love to. I did Caprio. I don't know if you know Dan Caprio's podcast a week ago. That was fun.
Oh, cool. No, I don't know if I feel like maybe I've seen him at a mic or something.
Yeah, he's a Jersey comic.
Okay.
But I'd love to check out your pod if it's on Spotify, and so would our viewers.
No, of course. Yeah. It's called the Comics Feature. It's on all the pod platforms and now even audible.com.
Whoa.
And
Comics Feature.
So definitely check that out. And Pip, you can pick any Woody Allen movie that you want, and we'll.
It's funny you mentioned that because, like, when I first started doing comedy, I got compared to Woody Allen a lot because I'm a neurotic, awkward Jew with the glasses and all that. And for a while, I would get on stage and people would introduce me as the guy who looks like Woody Allen. And
Jesus, I would keep that facial hair coming.
I can't. I'm not growing this out. It's not going. But
I really don't. I don't see any Woody.
I didn't like it at the time because it was like, why are you immediately making everybody think about Woody Allen before I get on stage? Why do you think that's a good idea? What do you think that sets up the audience to think? And nobody really thinks when they do something like that. They're just riffing. They're the host of like a whatever show. But now it's really bad because like Woody Allen's name has been dragged through like, you know, all this shit in the last few years. And I really don't want people talking about him right before I get on stage.
Right.
Come on, man.
Right. Yeah, if it were Michael Jackson or something, easier comparison point.
That would be way, or Gene Wilder. That's what I like to use. I used to get that one a lot.
Yeah, man. Well, I feel like I've been here too long. And
no problem. It's good seeing you.
Yeah, you guys, this has been great.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dave. We'll check out your pod. We'll post a link in the comments.
I did that already.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, you are a hero.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You guys, everyone check out these guys' things. And all right. I'll catch you soon.
Stay away from
Thanks for having me.
Stay away from the Garbage Pail Kids movie.
I will. I will. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Later.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Dave Vidala, ladies and gentlemen.
It's always good when someone shows up just because it always, not to take anything away from us, but it's always fun to have new, different, exciting, unexpected energy.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of what makes this show so special is it's different every time.
That's right.
And I'm not that. I'm kind of one-dimensional, you know. So the more diverse people we have here, the better it'll get.
I think I'm pretty one-dimensional. I've had that thought about myself.
I just, you know what? It's funny that I brought it up because the reason why I say that sometimes is because I was once dating someone, and they knew some of their friends knew me by reputation. Oh. And she was like, I'm dating this guy Pip. And he was like, really? You're dating Pip? But he's so one-dimensional. And and she told me about it later. And she's like, yeah, I told my friend and he said you're one-dimensional. So he was surprised that I wanted to go out with you. Wow. And for years, I couldn't get that out of my head. I wasn't offended. I was just like, wow, one-dimensional. What a thing to say about me.
Yeah.
That's like almost fascinating. I'm almost flattered that someone had that thought about me because it's such a poignant kind of insult.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I think it really just showcases their own shallowness. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
They only see one dimension in a person.
Right.
That's on them. That's not on me.
That's true. Although I feel like for me, I've probably heard poor reviews from others, like secondhand, like you did. And I've probably, upon hearing those bad reviews of myself, I've probably thought, well, yeah, I could see how they think that.
Have you heard bad reviews?
Sure. I can't remember any specific ones.
I've never heard a bad review. Well, that's not true. I've heard a bad review.
Yeah.
Especially back when I was doing all the shows really early on, I would, and the ones that I would do when I was on drugs, because those are a bit of a crapshoot.
Yeah, yeah.
But what always would fascinate me about comedy is I would do a set one night and it would go great, and I would do the exact same set the next night.
Oh, yeah.
It would bomb.
Yeah.
I never could understand why that would happen. And it would really piss me off at times because, like, what am I doing wrong here?
Yeah.
Right. I did this exact set yesterday and it killed. What's happening?
I have an answer for me.
Yeah, go for it.
As to why that happens to me. And it's that if I do very well, I go into the next night with an inflated sense of self-confidence when what I should have is the belief that any joke I have at any point can fail, because that's the truth.
You need the nervous energy. Is
yeah,
that what
yeah.
You're saying? You know, I always admire comics who get off on the nervous energy. I think Pat Oswalt is a comic who's always nervous before he gets on stage. I think openly Mitch Hedberg was one of those guys.
Oh yeah, I'd believe that.
He had crippling stage fright. That's why he get up there and like. Yeah.
That's why he wore sunglasses. I've read.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I definitely feel like adrenaline is what gets me through like my best shows when I do really well. And I'm not sure I will. It's the adrenaline that gets me through it. So sometimes when I'm really loose and relaxed, I don't have that adrenaline and it doesn't go as well.
Yeah. Um,
Or I'm
yeah.
just drunk.
You got to learn by practicing and failing and trying and getting over it.
Yeah, that's all you can do. I mean, failure sucks, but it also doesn't because it teaches you how to not fail in that same way.
Yeah.
Again, um,
Wise words.
wise words. Yeah, I try with my words sometimes.
Well, do you have anything to leave us with?
Um, not really. What about you? You got anything you want to talk about?
Um, I came up with an inappropriate dad joke. This is an inappropriate dad joke.
Go for it.
It's hey, I lost my wife and kids in a car accident. Just kidding. They're inside CVS getting frozen pizzas. I'm just out here having a cigarette. It's an inappropriate dad joke. I don't think
That
I'll
was
ever do it. I don't think I'll ever do it on stage. I think that's more of a Zoom thing.
that was that was a very interesting dad joke. I mean, it related to dads,
Yeah.
so that's it's definitely an inappropriate dad joke. It's well
Yeah.
named.
It was also an impression
Yeah,
of an inappropriate dad.
that's good. That's good
I,
shit.
maybe I will do it again, but I'll say that this is my impression of an inappropriate dad joke.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll do it as an impression instead of rather actually telling it.
good idea.
Maybe.
Uh, I think that. Yeah, I think I can see that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't really have anything. I was hoping to make jokes out of thin air today, which I think we got at least one or two in.
Yeah.
So this was a productive show.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I guess you guys, if anybody's watching, if you guys want to follow my Twitter account, I would greatly appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
I am also soon launching a show with my good friend and social activist Daniel Conklin. And I'll have more info on that next week. But we've got a working title. It's called Class Warfare. It's a politics/performance show. And I think it's really entertaining because Dan and I fucking hate each other and we bring out the best in each other. I think it'll be a good show. So stay tuned for more info on that as I have it.
Awesome. I also posted that in the thing.
Nice. Thank you.
Your
Follow me
Twitter
on Twitter,
thing.
friends. And
Yeah.
I guess I will see you all next week or possibly Saturday if I decide to pop in.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Laters.